The internet is an excellent medium for information dissemination. The only contact a person might have with a distant event before the 20th century was through hearsay, or witness accounts, an unreliable experience to say the least. But thanks to the capabilities of audio-video recordings and the cyberspace, we now have the chance to witness almost any event on our own. Here are 15 incredible rare recordings made available online. Number 1, first recording of a human voice. Finally, in 2008, the 1860 phonogram recordings of Edouard Léon Scott de Martinville were able to be played back for the first time. Even Monsieur de Martinville was never able to play back the sounds he had recorded. The phonogram was a device that, while lacking a playback capability, sketched a diagram of sound waves, essentially the first recording device. The audio is the French folk tune, Au clair de la lune. Number 2, Operation Wandering Soul. Sound warfare has been used for a long while. With eerie noises, soldiers may often unnerve their opponents, beating them into submission without firing a shot. There was a belief among the Vietnamese that the deceased must be buried, otherwise, their souls would roam around the world, unable to find peace. The US Army created recordings of ghostly voices over weird noises during the Vietnam War, which would sound like the wailings of wandering souls to their Viet Cong enemies. Number 3, Mysterious Codes, Number Stations. Since World War I, number stations or shortwave radio stations of unknown origin have been documented and continued to this day. Although many individuals suspect that they are coded messages used for spying, no one knows what their reason is, even though no country has admitted this. The transmissions are typically a female voice who broadcasts streams of numbers, words, or letters. They are seemingly random at times and coordinated at other times. Amateur radio enthusiasts tracked the source of one number station to a US military base in the 1990s. Comments have been denied by the FCC or the Federal Communications Commission. Number 4, E=mc² by Albert Einstein. We all have an Albert Einstein mental image. The mental image does not get much more comprehensive for some of us, than the beard, the unruly hair, and the wrinkled dress, all of which have become visual signifiers of forbidding intellect, thanks to his achievements in theoretical physics. But what does it sound like, when we imagine this image of Einstein actually speaking? Many of us would realize that we have never actually heard the man who came up with the theory of relativity talking, beyond guessing at a fairly appropriate Germanic accent. We can hear Albert Einstein announcing and discussing E=mc² in this historic audio recording.
The equation E is equal mc², in which energy is Z equal to mass multiplied with the square of the velocity of light, showed that very small amount of mass may be converted into a very large amount of energy, and vice versa. The mass and energy were in fact equivalent, according to the formula mentioned above. This was demonstrated by Kokra and Walton in 1932 experimentally.
Number 5, first recorded Pope, Pope Leo XIII. The first pope in history to be recorded was Pope Leo XIII. He was the 256th pope and reigned from 1878 to 1903, and is particularly famous as the pope who declared that Anglican priests and bishops are laymen. He also greatly encouraged the reading of the Bible at home, and was known as the people's pope. He sings Ave Maria or Hail Mary in this recording.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Santa Maria, Mater Dei.
Number 6, the Exorcism of Anneliese Michel. In this next audio clip, the girl being exorcised was called Anneliese Michel. Unfortunately, she died in the exorcism process. This is a short clip from the authentic and complete recording of the exorcism that took place in Germany, leading to the famous trial on which the film Emily Rose's Exorcism is based on.
Ja, aber die wenigste beten. Ja. Und in Kirche wird am allerwenigsten gebeten, weil die Herr Pfarrer ja das für unmodern hat. Ja.
Alle?
Fast.
Number 7, Mary Had a Little Lamb by Thomas Edison. In 1877, another early human voice recording was made. In the recording, we hear Edison recite Mary Had a Little Lamb. The recording is remarkably clear.
The first words I spoke in the original phonograph, a little piece of practical poetry. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
Number 8, Mysterious Sound from the Deep Ocean, the bloop. Many technological advances were produced by the Cold War. The great danger raised by nuclear submarines made finding a way to track them crucial for governments. Since sound carries extremely well in water, listening through underwater microphones called hydrophones was one method of detection. Besides submarines, other unexplained sounds have been detected by these microphones. One of these, called the bloop, was picked up in 1997 off South America's west coast. Opinions vary as to whether the breaking up of ice, or some form of massive animal created this unidentified sound. Number 9, Mongolian throat singing. Throat singing is a form of generating two distinct tones at the same time using the human voice. It sounds foreign to Western ears but has been practiced in several cultures, particularly in Eastern Asia. The ability has recently been modified to allow it to be performed alongside Western musical instruments, but it uses only the voice in its traditional form. Number 10, Stratospheric coloratura, motto Robin. In classical music, this great French singer has one of the highest recorded notes. Numerous sources give her highest note as either a B above top C, or a D above top C, which would be B7 and D7 respectively. On a classical piano, this is the last octave and is just 3 octaves lower than G10, the point at which the note can no longer be heard by humans. Number 11, 2011 Japan earthquake. Sound passes through different materials at various speeds. As a rule, the denser the object, the faster a sound travels and the farther it goes. Earthquakes spread across the Earth's crust as waves. In the Earth's mantle, they can also resonate and set the planet ringing like a bell. Scientific equipment can pick up this energy and convert it into sound. The audio clip you're about to hear is accelerated 16 times. Number 12, Whistles of Death, Ancient Aztec Whistles. Archaeologists have discovered small ceramic whistles in many Aztec graves. They are also shaped like animals or decorated in geometric designs. Copies of these whistles have been made by Roberto Velázquez, which he calls the whistles of death. His copies give us the opportunity to hear the sounds they made all those centuries ago. Number 13, Rebel Yell. Soldiers have used war cries throughout history to work themselves into a pre-battle rage. No one in the American Civil War was deemed more frightening to the enemy than the shrill scream of the Confederate Army. For its piercing sound, the rebel yell was recognized, which reminded those who heard it of Native American war cries. Until recently, we had only written accounts of the battle cry. But now, it appears that we have credible recordings left by war veterans. Number 14, Atomic Bomb Explosion. Perhaps none of us will ever hear the tremendous roar of a nuclear explosion in person. In the golden age of nuclear testing, however, no part of the blast was left unrecorded. On the record of nuclear tests, numerous seals of secrecy are expiring. Because of the distance traveled from seeing it to hearing it, the audio on this clip is delayed about 30 seconds. Number 15, the only castrato to be recorded, Alessandro Moreschi. The castrati were men who were forcibly castrated at an early age, to ensure that they did not undergo the hormonal changes in puberty, that contributed to the lowering of the male voice. This meant that they sang like a modern soprano as adult men. In other words, they kept the voices of their boy soprano. After the Catholic Church assured that the practice was forbidden by all countries, Pope Leo XIII took the remaining castrati into the care of the Sistine Chapel Choir, to guarantee them a quiet life. The only castrato to be recorded solo is Moreschi. He is over 50 years old and has lost much of the strength of his voice in this recording, and the resulting audio is extremely eerie. Those are 15 incredible rare recordings. Tell us what's your favorite rare audio recordings from this list in the comments section. If you're not a subscriber yet, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload new content. Giving our video thumbs up and sharing it are also appreciated.